Hello everyone, and welcome to this talk. And this is going to be awesome, especially for creative people, designers. There used to be a time when artists and creative people were considered to be the starving ones, but now that's not the case. Because I can tell you that creative people, game designers, artists are getting some really good salaries. And today we have someone awesome to tell you about how, as a creative person, how you can actually reach the top, how you can be, studio director or a creative director. So today we have with us Joshi Mark Premnath, who is a games industry veteran. So now in 1998, he was actually part of the core startup team of the first Indian game studio, which is Dhruva Interactive. Now, what I will do is I will say no more and I will let take the floor. And also, please remember that in the handouts there is a form over there for feedback. So I really appreciate at the end of the talk if you could just go and click on the handout and click on that form and go and fill it up. So without further ado, please take it away.
Thanks, Rahul. Let me load up the presentation. There we are. Rahul, everything's okay? Can you guys see my screen? Just to check. So good evening, folks. The topic that we're going to talk about today is achieving career and professional success in a games creative studio. Firstly, let me thank the IGDC team, old friends and colleague, chairman of IGDC, Mr. Rajesh Rao, the committee and the volunteers. I really appreciate the team for their hard work. Most of all the effort is voluntary, right? So hats off to the awesome team. The sessions have been great. The choice of speakers and the topics were brilliant. Cheers to them. Yes, so a little about me. I'm Joshi Mark, CEO of Superhuge Studios. Yes, Rahul just mentioned, I've been part of this industry for many years. So been part of Dhruva Interactive from the early years, where we started off in a small place. So we, it's still in Bangalore. So in '97, and the services industry pretty much started here in Bangalore at that point. So across India. So it was a small studio. We started working with Infogrames or Atari at that point, and then slowly started working on multiple games. So Mission Impossible, Battlefield, Forza Motorsport. So we started getting good, got to work with good games and studios. Something we understood from those years is quality, international quality is paramount. So you need to ensure that your quality is top notch. And that's something that I learned. 10 years on, I moved on to help set up a school called Asian Institute of Gaming and Animation. IGA it was called, and now it's called Asian Institute of Design. Help train around 400 plus people, bring them to the games industry. Very satisfying. And today, many of them and the guys who we took at Dhruva are in leading studios, and some of them are head of studios, and that makes me really happy. Moved on to Moonfrog later, got to work on some awesome games. Understood. So I've been on PC consoles, and I started working on mobile at Moonfrog. I learned a lot. Thing is, got to work with some of the great guys in the industry, and one of them is Mark Skaggs, and he's one of my mentors and a friend, good friend, and I dedicate the session to him and my team at Superhuge Studios. So Superhuge Studios is a Bangalore-based studio. We're part of a family business conglomerate called the Machani Group. We are into robotics. Sophia, the humanoid robot. Yes, that's so we work with Hanson Robotics, and we do that. And we have a spring manufacturing company, SSS Defense, premier weapons system manufacturing company. We also have luxury real estate, and so we have another division called Indie Village, education and employment in rural India, AR/VR business, and the gaming. So I work with these. And I'm happy to kind of talk about this subject today because, you know, achieving career and professional success in a game studio is very dear to me because I have seen many people along the way through these years, right? And some of them have made it big or, had a studio and stuff like that. But then some of them have stayed, haven't moved much, haven't had much growth. And today I'm going to talk about these, right? How can I help uh, industry veterans, people who have been there for long, to review and step up their professional careers, which has not seen growth, or has the growth has been stunted. So I've put together a few points that I'm going to focus on today, which is story of most people in the industry, precious goals and targets, growth plan, key to success, and culture fit. Now, uh, you know, if you want to taste success, be part of this. I'm going to talk and let you know all the things that you can do to become successful. Focus for this, or the objective people that I want to focus on, is you who have been in the industry for long and haven't seen growth but would like to grow, right? You and the employee, as the employee, people's manager. I want to talk to the manager, and also I'm talking to the HR department. So guys, uh, if you want to, I know this video will be available later. So if you want to share this with your HR department, please do. Take a call on that once we finish the session. But it's going to really help the HR teams, managers, and you as an employee. So the first point is you need to start to act on this, right? Uh, without action, nothing happens. So get your notebooks, start taking notes. This is a session where I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff, and you have to take notes. And if you're going to take notes on paper or book, I prefer taking notes with my pen and my notebook. Uh, if you want to do it on the computer, please go ahead on your laptop, your phones, whatever, but take notes. And secondly, implement this in your career, in your lives, or else it's going to be another session gone by. Okay. So, many of them have been in the industry for long, but haven't seen growth. And what manifests out of this is low motivation, right? You meet them and the motivation is low. And it manifests in many ways. Your creativity is pretty much lost, right? You become machines or robots. In office, we have this joking thing, we keep talking about this, which is, yaar, are yaar, bolo kya karna hai, main kar dunga. You have people like that who tell me what to do, and I'll do it for you. That creativity is lost. The creative thinking that you would put into something that you're working on as to why am I doing this? What is the final outcome of this? There is no thought there. Thereby, you become robots over time. Periodically, you just turn into robots. Tell me what to do. And the point is, if I ask my art, if I share my ideas, I'll have to talk, I'll have to get involved. Why? I'm happy. Low motivation, low creativity. And another thing is, many of them have given up, assuming this is my destiny. Yeah, what else can I do? This is where I am, fed up, fed up of life. It's like, okay, I'm going through this job. It's become a mundane job. Another thing that I've noticed is comparison, right? Through all this is the most painful thing that happens to people, which is you start comparing yourself with your peers, others whom you started your journey with. You look at their lifestyles and you start comparing. Wow, what has he got, which I don't have? It's not that Rupa underwear thing. So there are things that people, you start looking at them and saying, what is his salary? How did he get up here? Now, something that I've also noticed is when there is this thing about, there's a little bit of jealousy that creeps in. uh, hey, वो तो बोल बच्चन है. हाँ. And I've heard this many times. वो तो बोल बच्चन है. And my second question is, man, he probably was a bull bachchan. He could probably talk his way up. Maybe that would have lasted for 6 months or a year. But it's been years. He's been going up the ladder. There's something right that he's doing. He or she is doing something right there. What is it? Comparing salaries, my gosh, it gets toxic. And what's going to happen is just going to kill you, right? Have you ever wondered, how did this happen? Why is that friend or those friends, he or she up there in that studio doing extremely well? Have you done anything? Have you done anything to change that? Frankly, straightly put, I want to tell you, you are in this position because there's been very little action. You were drawn in the mundane of work. You've caught project after project. You work on a project, your next project, and you go on and on. Growth is slow. Very little focus on personal growth. And most growth happens project to project. You're learning the things in that project, or you're using things you learned in the previous project there, and the new project comes by. Where is your learning? You know what's happening? Frog in the well attitude. There is no, effort to learn more. And when most people start learning or doing things, I can't see you guys, but I know you must be smiling. 15 days after your appraisal review, your performance appraisal review. 15 days after that performance review, people are like, man, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. This is what I spoke of. Correct? Now, think of this. You meet people, you meet a person, someone new, probably who's come home, or you meet them somewhere, and they ask you, what do you do? Where do you work? And your answer actually tells the real story of who you are. Are you excited about what you're saying? Hey, you know what? I'm a designer. I'm a game artist. I do this. I'm a producer. I develop art, whatever. I'm a coder. Talk to them about the work. Have you played this game? There is that thing about the joy, excitement, or is it a low energy reply? Hi, yeah, I'm just working on this. Yeah, I work in a studio. What do they do? The game banate hain. Like, that is the real you. Are you happy at work, or it is another day just gone by? I'm going to talk to you about precious goals and targets, right? Some things are precious to us, right? Each one of us. Your salaries. You want a good salary, right? You want your family to be happy and well taken care of. Your wife, you want to give her a beautiful gift for her birthday or Diwali or whatever it is. Your children, if you're not married, you want to have you want to give something to your parents. A good bank balance, a flat or a house, and now it comes to a good installment that you need to pay every month. A good vehicle, planning your holidays here or abroad. Man, these are your precious goals, right? You're thinking about all these, and sometimes some of us don't put these down. We know we want to get there. Fair enough, yeah. Awesome. Thumbs up to you guys. Keep your wishes more. Keep those goals growing. But at the same time, while you have your precious goals, the studio that you're working for, or your employer, the business is looking for their precious goals. And what are those precious goals? Business growth, right? Profits in the business, expansion, they want to expand, building a successful product, right? Without a product, what are we like, right? So building a successful product, a crack team, a solid team that builds great work, KPIs, and ROI positive. Now, when you put in money, you want to see that that is valuable and it gives you profits. And if it doesn't, there's something that needs to be fixed. So you're going to be looking at return of investment, KPIs, and everything. So these are the business precious goals, and they're going to be looking at this very seriously. One thing that we need to understand, and this is important, which is for your goals to be reality, for employee goals to be reality, business goals have to be achieved, period. You get what I'm saying? For your goals to be reality, the business goals have to be achieved. Correct? So, goals. How are goals measured? How are goals measured? By performance evaluation methods and metrics, right? How was the performance? Did we achieve the goals set before us? Right? So, what happens is, of course, for employees, you have the performance review, uh, which happens, or maybe sometimes some people have every quarter, some of them have half yearly, some of them yearly, whatever it is, there is a review point, and you sit with your manager and you discuss things out and you talk about stuff there, and your performance review happens there. Meanwhile, the employer or the business, there is the CEO or the CEO and the CEO sits with the stakeholders, the investors, using data, right? Of course, even the other one, we would use data to see how things have panned out. Are we there? Are we not there? What has been the spend? Performance. So goals are measured through performance. When I say appraisal or performance reviews, it's a pain point for most of us, right? It's very funny because most of the time it's just this. Every employee, you're asking, how much is the raise, right? How much is my raise? And you're just waiting for that point. It's getting over. Now I'm going to get a raise. And if I don't get that raise, what next? What next? Do I move on? Because what happens is most resumes are made during these times. It is like, you don't give me a raise, I'm going to type my resume. And it's all prepared, it's all kept. You look at your resumes when they're made, those cycles. So resumes are made, our portfolios are updated, already saying, if I don't get that raise, bhej dunga sir, right? So, and while the employer is looking, the studio is looking, what's a good deal? Is there accountability, responsibility? What were the pitfalls? HR guys listening to me. What value that the employee adds is not just just money, but the time, and they're also looking at what is the what have you invested in this person? Is there an ROI out of this? How can we make use of this guy? Remember, all of us can't be a child. You're going to be improving year on year, so you're expecting more every time, right? Appraisals most of the time, in my opinion, don't do justice. Many a times I've seen HR departments are looking to get done with this exercise and finish the process and say, hey, we have done the job. Appraisals are all done. Yeah, this, documents, many documents. And this is the only time when people who do not type at all, artists, coders, many of our coders, of course, type, but they type code. They are typing these lines. How did you perform in the last 6 months? What were the things that you learned? Oh my God, they're like typing all these and putting those together. What I've also seen is managers are ill prepared most of the times, and employees in many cases are guinea pigs. Because managers most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, most of the time, remember only things that were contributed in the past 1 month or the past 15 days. And things that impact the project immediately, right? In my opinion, this needs to change. Performance reviews of a creative studio or any company that which is working on creative stuff should be done slightly differently. In fact, I have personally developed one continuum review methodology for Creative Studio. So in case any of you wants to talk about that, you can get in touch with me and I'll talk to you guys about that. Now, the point is, there is something that's very, very important. While the review is happening, right, it always needs to come to one point, which is employee and the employer need to genuinely care about each other. If you don't care about each other, there is a problem, and that needs to be fixed. When I say genuinely care about each other, I'm really saying it genuinely. You need to care about each other. Yeah. When you genuinely care about each other, what happens? There is suddenly, there is a win-win situation. You win, the customer or the player or the consumer, whoever it is, wins, and the studio wins. So the studio wins, the customer wins, and you win. When does this happen? When you start caring about each other. And ask a successful studio, people do not leave them very easily. They work close-knit and they're growing with each other because they're caring about each other. The day you start caring for your studio, you'll win. While I'm at that, I want to talk about the importance of growth plan, right? Yes, you have to win, but how do you win? Yes, so companies have a growth plan for the week, for the months, year. They have a vision, they have a growth plan. So they have business goals, a business plan, they have financial plan. Business plans can go on pages, they can talk about the business plan they have, the financial plan, a product plan. What is the product? Which market? Where are we going to do marketing and sales, budgets and revenue, right? They go into such deep documents at times talking about all these, and the resource planning. Who are the type of people that we want to have here in our team? What do they cost? How many can we afford? What is the project? Will it bring us money back into the company? Now, my question to you is, do you have a growth plan? Have you ever thought about this, guys? Don't blame others, because you are the creator of your destiny, right? So many a times it's like, you know what? I shouldn't have stayed in that studio for long. I've been there and I should have moved on, and that's why I didn't grow. No, you have to look at yourself and see, where did I go wrong, or how can I correct that at this point? Because that's more important. Kal ki baat purani. There's a simple growth plan that I have, right? Which is better role. So you put together a plan which is better role and responsibility, opportunity to contribute more, achieving recognition and rewards, and of course, when you do all that, you get better salary, right? So these are your growth plan, and I'll get into some of the details, right? Without any effort or growth plan, most expect rewards and recognition. I'm sorry, you will not get. It is not possible, and that's not fair. You need to put in a growth plan for yourself, and when you work at it, that's when you get rewards and recognitions. Now, guys, you know what? I've put this together. Please note this down and spend a day on this. Okay, you're going to spend a day on this. Write this down and say, what is a better role? So your role at this today, and if I have to move up, what is that better role? Do I qualify to be in this new role? What are responsibilities and skill that I need to learn to fit into that new role? Got it? And what value do you add to projects? You add what? Value. What value to the projects? What am I outstanding at? There are something that you're good at, right? Put those, because those are your values. What is expected of me? Most performance end up with disappointment at both ends because of disconnect between the managers and the employees. I'm sure most of you would agree with this, right? Surprises, unrealistic expectations. Hey, have you done this? How, the review meeting, you sit down and that's the question. You were supposed to do this. Why is this not done? And you're like surprised. Hey, was I supposed to do this? I was not asked to do this. I'm sorry. So what happened there? The manager expected something, and you did not even know that you were supposed to deliver that alignment. So basically, these meetings are no discussion on growth at all. Managers are only worried about the project, and that's it. And so we are just going on, and the employee is not speaking about his growth plan, just moving project to project. You get done with those reviews. Make it meaningful. Guys, remember, win. You have to win. It's your goal. So talk to your manager. Take his time and say, guy, you know what? I'm going to spend the whole day with you, or 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever. Talk to them. Manager, if your team members win, you win. And you win, right? When you win, the studio wins, and then the customer wins. Take time to care for your teammates. Very important. Managers, spend time with them. Help them in their career path. Sometimes you're so deep in everything, they don't see it. And when you look at things from a high level, you can see where are areas that they can grow. Talk to them. Pause. Hold back everything. Look at them in a fresh view. I'm going to talk to you about key to success. Okay. So one of the first important things that we need to do is understanding your job role clarity. What is my current role and what is the job role clarity? What is the job description that I need to know clearly? What is expected of me? You need to have clarity of thought, guys, on your job role description. Most of the time, JDs are only seen when you seek a job. Yeah. And that's the only time JDs are seen. And after that, it's forgotten. I'm sure many of you are smiling there. Most feel it's just, JDs and these documents are just for the HR team and the recruiters. Sorry, no. It's for you to be using that every weekend, every day. Look at that and say, where am I? What am I doing? Are there areas that I need to step up on? Right? Clarity of thought, job role description. Go through it. And then comes to move to the next position, career progression. What are the skills and knowledge needed in your next role, right? What else is needed, right? Once you go through your job description, you're going through it and it becomes part of you. You start understanding what else is needed. In my next promotion, when I get promoted, what else is needed? Most promotions are focused only on salaries, salary hike, but important aspects such in the new position, you will have to start looking at the next job roles JD. What is it? What does that cover? Right? And what is expected? Managers, that's your job. You should be spending time talking to people. Spend time and talk to them and tell them about the next role. Okay, you've got your promotion. Fantastic. Now, let's talk about what is expected of you. Talk to them and appraise them on what is needed. What else is needed? People's responsibility. Guys, you know what? Many a times, as we move up the ladder, and that's my next screen, we move up the ladder. We probably, we start off as an entry level individual contributor. Slowly you go to a junior, senior, lead, manager, executive. It goes up higher and higher. But something's happening as you go higher, guys, which is you start mentoring people. You start working, or you've suddenly given this responsibility of one person, 2, 3, and slowly you start looking at leads who come to you, managers who you report to you, and you start going up. These are career pathways. So every time you go up, what is expected? Because every time you move up, your goals are changing. What is expected of you changes. Now, here's another interesting take, right? There are some in the industry who do not want to do people management, right? For them, they'll have to start focusing on specialist roles, super specialist roles. Sometimes examples are tech artists. So you could slowly start moving up and say, hey, you know what? I probably will probably fit into the business role. I'll probably be a good business development manager, or I can be that specialist concept artist who can create those great concept art. And it's a small team. Maybe you still have to look after people, one or two people. And so you start growing that team and growing up higher, right? So remember this, as you go up, these leadership skills are coming through, and it's very important. So it's not just about your art skills or your coding skills or your design skills, uh, but it's much more. Interpersonal skill, communication and motivation. You should be able to motivate the others. Are you able to communicate clearly? Delegating work and being organized. Forward thinking, what is to come? And how do I strategically plan for the next few weeks, few months? Decision making, problem solving. Another thing is commercial awareness. What is the investment? When do I bring in that guy into my team? Do I start bringing this guy right now? Does it make sense? Or do I think about bringing this person a little later? But one thing, hiring, always hire early. Don't hire late. And this is something I have learned the hard way. Mentoring. And more importantly, as you go up, you'll have to start putting together SOPs, standard operating procedures for your team, so that people are not reinventing or exploring every time. There are plans that there is a framework that they follow every time, and you say, do this, this is how you do this. So take time, talk to your manager one-on-one, understand your roles and responsibilities, right? Be crystal clear on your roles and responsibilities, because it's very, very important, right? Action leads to results, right? Action leads to results. That's long-lasting results. It takes a spark to start a fire, right? So put in action. Very important. Understand your role and responsibilities. Now, this is again another exercise. Do this. Okay, do this. This is a day's exercise. I think you should spend a day, maybe a Saturday or Sunday, spend time on this. Spend time thinking about yourself. Develop these 4 quadrants, right? What role do you play in your team and the company? So go through these 4 things. Responsibilities. Detailed responsibilities in this role. Documented and agreed. So when you talk to your manager, what are the roles and responsibilities? Talk to him and you both agree on this, right? Tasks that are given to you. Define specific day-to-day tasks that you're going to do. What is the process? How do you attack that problem? Tasks, each task, what are you going to do? Talk about that. Expected outcome from me. This is a very, very important thing. Most of us don't do this. And then we fall in a pit where someone asks us, hey, why haven't you achieved this? So clearly define what is expected out of me. What will you be responsible for? And that brings in so much clarity. And commit for self-improvement, because without self-improvement, growth or success will not happen. But survival may happen, but not growth and success. These 4 quadrants, work on these guys, very important. Managers, this is another important thing, and team members. As part of your growth plan, more you understand each other, your team mates, your peers, there is a better chance for victory. Understand your teammates deeply, guys. Spend quality time to talk about skills and responsibilities. Stop being a wimp. Stop complaining about your manager, your situation. Get to this. Talk more about your culture, your work. Remember, it takes 2 hands to clap, right? 2 hands to clap. With one, you can't do much. But very interesting, during interviews, you get to understand, most interviews, you get to understand the tip of a glacier of this person who's come to, you're interviewing and you've taken him, just to get to see a little bit. A year on, you may see little more, but the rest of the ice of the glacier may be hidden down. That may be a gold mine who can change your projects, change the way you work. So hiring right people is important. Training and guiding them is also very important. Holding them accountable, providing them feedback, and helping them grow will only lead to success. So keys to success, these are very good, very important, again, 3 points, actually 4. Skill. So skill, 3 points, keep this in mind. To enhance your capability, these are the 3 points that you need to work on. Your skill. What is skill? Ability that comes from training or practice. So you need to develop your skills. Knowledge, awareness or familiarity gained by experience or a fact or a situation. Also by new learning, going through new postmortems, projects and retrospect meetings and videos, reading new books, or going through things that can give you more knowledge. And attitude, right? This is very, very important. Is the way of feeling or acting towards a person, thing, or a situation. Attitude can play a very, very important role. I'm going to cover 3 common positive and negative emotions at work. Being comfortable at work, satisfied and energetic and enthusiastic. The other one is frustrated, stressed, anxious, and dejected. This will show in your work. And another point is ego is cancer for growth. If you want to learn, ask questions. It's all okay. You need to ask people, saying, hey, how do I improve this? How do I do this? I didn't understand. Please go again, explain that to me. And it's very important. Don't hold back and say, oops, I've been in the industry for so long. Well, how do I ask this question? It doesn't work. And another very important point is communication, guys. Communication, clarity of communication. It's not about, when I say communication, it's not about speaking English or speaking some language. Are you able to communicate? Which is, are you able to understand and align with your team? Are you asking the right questions? Sharing your thoughts and knowledge in a meeting. Openly asking questions in a meeting can help. How best can you communicate? Can I use other methods? Explore, guys, explore. Communication plays a very important role. So another exercise for you, third exercise. Do this quadrants, again, a 4 quadrants. Spend time to score yourself and ask yourself, there is skill, knowledge, managerial skills, and leadership skills. Score yourself. How much do I have? 40 for my skills, knowledge is whatever. Go on, within for 100 mark score. Now, once you do this, share this with your friends who are with you, who work with you, and ask them to do that for you. And you can do it for them as well. And then ask your manager as well. And once you've done for 4 or 5 people, you will know the truth as to which are the areas that you need to improve. Spend time thinking about yourself. There is this matrix, and you can figure out who you are. There is skill, knowledge, attitude, and communication. Some people have great skill, good knowledge, but poor attitude and good communication. Do you think they would, a studio will appreciate that? Very hard to work with these guys, right? Another thing is great skill, fair knowledge, good attitude, but poor communication. Again, problem. So there are more there, and you could go on putting your skill and saying, where am I? See, the third one is probably he can fit into another division because his skills are fair and knowledge is fair, but he's great at attitude and communication. So guys, do this and figure out where you are. Where do you fit in? You can draw a table yourself and figure out who you are. And there's another, the last thing that I want to touch about is culture, right? Studios and culture. Very, very important, because if you want the win-win kind of a situation, culture plays a very important role. And what is culture? Many of us have a wrong notion of what culture is. Employees, managers, business heads, you need to have a clear definition of culture at work. What is acceptable in my studio? What is not acceptable in my studio? What leads to promotion and which leads to non-promotion? Very important, very important. Culture is not about, is not just about, okay, it's not just about, you ask any team, what is culture? Hey, you know what? We are a team. We are all friends. We work together. Team bonding, awesome. T-shirts, Diwali gifts. There are so many. Just go on and on. No, my friend. Are you setting strong sense of accountability and ownership? That should be part of your culture, and that is the most important thing. Accountability and ownership. Hold them accountable. You're building an army who are driven by a mission, guys. Are you setting strong sense of accountability and ownership in your team? Very important, very important. Focus on this, right? So when you do these things, what happens is, as you build your team, you will start seeing, you care for people and genuinely work with them, you will start seeing three things happen. Your studio will start seeing numbers, they will go up, they will start doing well. Players in your game or the consumers or whoever, suddenly they are enjoying themselves, they are freaking out, they're asking you, hey, we want more content, we want to see more. The studio's doing well, the player's happy, and you win. And this is the triangle that needs to work. It is not going to just, I'm not going to achieve my personal goals just with you, right? Just with me. So it has to be with this triangle. So that's about it, guys. And that's the presentation the session that I wanted to talk to you about. Feel free to talk to me, connect with me. There's so much to be done in this area. If you can share this with your friends, and if it's going to help them, awesome. I'm happy to do that. Thanks, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the session. I'm wishing you guys the very best.
Thank you so much, Joshiji. That was amazing. I mean, I don't think I have ever seen such a sharp and beautiful presentation about success at a game studio. Like I feel this is fantastic. It was really well put together, and I think you really highlighted the stuff that's really important, and you actually gave exercises. You gave people specific things that they could do. It was not just something you were just talking about edifice. I think it was absolutely fantastic. And for the people watching, guys, that was absolutely pure gold. I hope you were taking notes or screenshots or whatever. So thank you so much. We are actually over time already, so we will have one question. And I would say let's take this question. So somebody is asking, okay, so could you please explain why Zarpi Games and Super Huge Studios name, and also your tagline is kindness built in. Could you explain?
So what was the first one with Zarpi Labs?
The name Zarpi Games and Super Huge Studios.
Yeah. So basically, Zarpi was a lab that Zarpi Labs means I forget the term, but it was about caring, right? So Zarpi was something that was coined where before I joined in, and Zarpi is about multiple languages. It's about communicating in multiple languages, which is audio, art, visual, and all the so that was Zarpi Labs, and Super Huge Studios was born out of Zarpi Labs. So we have the defense, and we have AR, VR, and we have gaming. So Super Huge Studios is a subset, and I lead all these businesses to an extent, and that's what we do. What was the second question, Rahul?
Yes, it was your tagline is kindness built in. Could you explain that?
So basically, we are looking at kindness is, again, coming to some of the session, right? We care for our players. We care for the player. We care for our employees. And we care for all the ecosystem. Well, there is kindness all around. And, only when there is kindness, there is going to be success. So that's something that we have coined in our team. And same thing that I spoke about, the 3 wins, right? The same thing is there. It's about kindness.
Thank you so much, Joshiji. That was absolutely fantastic. And now, thank you guys for being here. And thank you so much for taking your time and actually giving this awesome presentation. guys. So have a good night, and moving on to the next talk, which is going to be about product management. So I hope you guys will be there. Thank you so much, and have a good night, Joshi.
Good night. God bless you guys.